Good afternoon. I'm Taheshah and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm joined alongside Eric Chilton and Maddie Gardner. We are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world. Be sure to join the conversation online using that hashtag 4 to 5 as we live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Triad school districts are finalizing plans to reopen this fall after Governor Roy Cooper announced schools would reopen under Plan B, but schools also have the option to open under Plan C. The governor says reopening schools is not just for the sake of students' academic abilities.
We know that schools provide so much more than just academic lessons. They support our children's social, emotional, and physical development. They're reliable sources of good meals, and they are a critical line of defense when a student has a troubled home life, including abuse, mental health, hunger, and homelessness.
Now, Plan B is a more restrictive plan requiring social distancing. Schools can open only at 50% capacity for the building, and all students and staff in grades K through 12 must wear a face covering. Temperature checks and other symptom screenings are required daily, and schools will also need to have a plan in place if someone were to get sick. There will be more cleaning and disinfecting of public surfaces, both on buses and in schools. Regular hand washing is encouraged, and hand sanitizer will be in every classroom. Schools will also have to temporarily hold off on activities that bring students together in large groups and limit visitors. So here is what schools in the Triad are working on. Alamont's Burlington schools will be opening under an A and B day schedule. Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools will vote on a plan in the coming days. Rockingham County schools also voting on a plan. Surrey and Randolph County schools are expected to announce plans at a school board meeting on Monday. Now, Davidson County schools say that they are reviewing 3 plans, but haven't said what plan they're leaning towards.
Well, Guilford County Schools is still talking about their options here, but Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras is adamant about not sending kids back to school on August 17th. She wants to keep students online for the first 5 weeks of school. And then after that, one option is to bring K through 8th grade students back to schools, but keep high schoolers virtual. Scenario B is a blended model where all students would be split between 2 groups and each have 2 consecutive days in school and then 3 days of remote learning. Scenario C is a blended model. Students would have 5 consecutive days in school and then 5 consecutive days of remote learning. The district is expected to continue those discussions tonight.
Well, as for high school sports, they're also getting a new start date. Now, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, they released a statement today. It's delaying the start of all fall sports. And Luke, it looks like new start date now maybe in September.
Eric, the earliest start date now for fall sports is set for at least September 1st. That'd be the very earliest fall sports could start for the 2020 season. And keep in mind, the first week of the high school football season was supposed to kick off on Friday, August 21st, so it looks like we'll miss out on the first few weeks of football to kick off the season. Also important to note, though, the association says phase 1 of the summer conditioning and workouts can continue until further notice. So schools such as Oak Grove and East Surrey will continue like normal, with hopes that Guilford and Forsyth County schools can begin those workouts this coming Monday, although there's still no definite answer on that quite yet. So here's an overview with what was announced today. Like I mentioned, early start date for fall sports now September 1st. In the first week, students go back to school. That is now listed as a dead period, so no sporting activities will take place during that first week of school when the students do return. And finally, the summer workouts, like I mentioned as well, will continue until further notice. So there's still a lot to digest. I'm sure several of those student athletes are very upset about the delayed start date, but like we continue to say, better safe than sorry, right? We will have much more on this developing story coming up on WFMR News 2 at 5 and 6, so I'll be sure to see you then.
Well, temperatures out there today, they are smoking hot. 93 in High Point, 91 in Asheboro. I mean, you get the idea. You almost want to check the instrumentation there in Burlington. 95 degrees, Yanceyville at 96, Reedsville 93, and it feels every bit of that if you walk outside. Tonight, the overnight low dropping down to 72. We expect to see scattered clouds here or there. Same story tomorrow, but so a chance of a late day isolated shower or storm goes up to a more normal percentage amount, but 91 for the high tomorrow. I want to check the radar to show you that southern Piedmont really seeing more of an isolated shower or two. We did get a little bit in Guilford County earlier. One cell developed and moved through, and it was dumping rain pretty heavy. But for now, Montgomery County, southern parts of Davidson and Randolph County with a better chance of seeing heavier showers. Looking at our automated watches and warnings here, nothing has been issued just yet. We'll keep you posted on that. And you can see a stronger cell now in the Biscoe area, just to the west of Biscoe. We will remain fairly hot over the next several days. In fact, our temperatures really aren't changing a great deal. The isolated chance of storms as that cold front approaches, they're there. They're just not huge. But tonight, 72 for the overnight low. Look at that long range forecast. Talk about consistent. 91 to 93. That's the range of highs for the next 7 days. Overnight lows, same story in the low 70s. Rain chances a normal 30 to 40% every single day. And those are all late afternoon, early evening pop-up showers. Otherwise, partly cloudy every day.
As a reminder, North Carolina will stay in phase 2 for 3 more weeks. This is the second time Governor Roy Cooper has extended phase 2 by 3 weeks.
Easing restrictions now to allow more high transmission activities could cause a spike that would threaten our ability to open schools. The most important opening is that of our classroom doors.
Phase 2 was set to expire Friday, but it will now go through August 7th. The governor says the state must continue phase 2 to lower the number of coronavirus cases.
Well, staying in phase 2 means several businesses in downtown Greensboro will have to remain closed or either keep those restrictions in place. So Zach Matheny, he's the president of Downtown Greensboro Incorporated. I spoke to him today. He said most businesses are adapting at this point, but still are just trying to make the best of the situation.
The governor's comments yesterday were okay. You know, the fact that we're not going backwards back to phase 1 was significant. I think most business owners are getting accustomed to what phase 2 looks like, and then phase 3, and if there's a phase 4, getting back to the old normal will be phenomenal for business owners.
Well, DGI is doing what they can to help. They're giving out more than 50 $1,500 grants to small businesses through their retail revitalization program. And then businesses can use that money to pay rent, buy inventory, and keep people on the payroll. Still, Matheny says that can only do so much, and it's really up to us to help our neighbors recover. He's urging patrons that it is safe to shop and eat downtown.
The only thing I can do is implore folks, we're taking every precaution downtown. Mask, social distancing, hand sanitizer, Q-tips so you don't have to touch the boards, because these business owners really are suffering.
All right, so the governor's announcement means we're going to be in phase 2 until at least August 7th. I asked you on my Facebook page what you thought about this decision, and several of you responded. We'll take a look at a few of your comments here. Eric Ayers says, I think it's a wise move. I know that there will be hardships. However, unless we get the numbers reduced, the situation can worsen. Jim Hoop says, great idea. Phase 1 would have been okay as well. Thomas Dort agrees. He says, half surprised we didn't revert to phase 1. Motley Chris says, it is past time to move forward and go on to phase 3 and stop this nonsense. Barbara Nelson Golf Smart said, enough people are sick. I think it should be mandatory to wear a mask everywhere. And Carlin Brock added, I just want people to wear their masks so we can beat this. All right, guys. So, of course, that announcement that we are staying in phase 3 was almost overshadowed by the plan to go back to school this fall. So I think a lot of people almost missed out on the announcement that we're staying in phase 2 for a little bit longer. But again, we saw a record number of hospitalizations today, and the governor and the task force have been saying they are eyeing that data to make these decisions.
Well, it makes sense to me. When I saw this, I know a lot of people were very disappointed. And, as some folks, and we heard this, a lot of folks that were thinking that we'd go backwards. Staying where we are, I think, might have been the best decision for right now. I know for business it's tough. But again, yesterday we were talking about that Pulse release where they let businesses open for a while and then they check numbers and bring it back again. That may be something we'll have to deal with for a while.
Right, and I do feel for businesses as well. I know there were several new businesses that were in the process of trying to open, but they are falling into phase 3. So you have a whole list of business owners that are struggling for money right now. But I get where people are coming from when they are saying, you know, this is our safety, this is public health, and we need to stay in phase 2 for as long as possible until those numbers seem to go down. All right, let us know what you think about the phases. Are you okay staying in phase 2? Do you wish we were in phase 1, or you're hoping for phase 3 once we hit August 7th? Let us know in the live stream on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, and we'll be sure to chat back.
All right. I don't know. Sounds good to me. Gotcha. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3 4 to 5. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check. Mic check 1 2 3. All right. Thanks, man.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Novant Health is launching a new program to help address nursing and physician shortages. Tele-ICU allows healthcare staff to monitor and treat ICU patients remotely while a patient is admitted. The program helps patients avoid being transferred to receive treatment and lets them stay closer to home. Novant Health deployed 35 tele-ICU carts to several facilities, but plans to launch 120 carts over time. Today is the official tax deadline. That deadline, if you remember, was extended from April to July 15th because of the pandemic. You can file for an extension if you need one, but that only covers paperwork. If you owe money, you'll still have to pay that balance by today. The extension gives you 6 months from the April 15th deadline, not the July date. And a photographer is making history by being the first Black photographer to shoot a Vanity Fair cover photo. Dario Calmi shot images of Viola Davis for the cover's newest edition. That magazine has been around for 107 years.
Well, the city of Greensboro wants to help businesses that were damaged after a protest in May. There's a new grant program that could award up to $3,000 to help those businesses make any repairs that were damaged and even repaint and fix broken windows. So the president of Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, Zach Matheny, he says 50 businesses have already requested this grant money, and he expects more than 100 to apply for a grant. Last month, the Greensboro City Council approved $250,000 for for grants, and that money will come from the city's operating account. Greensboro police say 100 businesses were vandalized or robbed on the weekend of May 30th and 31st. Matheny says before the vandalism, businesses were already struggling.
The coronavirus has been so detrimental to retailers and restaurants throughout the city, throughout the world. And so having the vandalism that occurred that weekend just added so much more on the stress of these business owners to survive.
Businesses can apply for the grants online. I've already linked you to that application on our website, WFNYnews2.com. And by the way, they hope to have those payments out to businesses by the end of July. Well, we'll hope you'll stick around. More of the 4 to 5 is coming up after this break. You can always join us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We are live there. Join our conversation. We'll see you soon.
You know, in these times, we all need a little joy and happiness to give us that extra push to get through the day. So listen to me right now. If you don't know someone named Ivy G, that you should. She takes love and happiness to new levels every single day. She has these daily video posts that she puts out. She started it back in March when the pandemic began, and it honestly may be just what the doctor ordered for all of us. Take a look.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I am living my best life. I am super happy, full of positive energy, got my teeth out with my friends.
Look, I want everybody at home to know that this is one of the most positive, loving, caring people I know in my life. Ivy, what you do with the video motivational messages that you put out in the mornings, I think is exactly what we need right now. How did you come up with the idea and how does it work?
Just sharing positive energy, my friend. Positive energy keeps my teeth out. It's just believing in yourself and sharing what you're passionate about.
And so what do you do every day? Explain for people that haven't seen it yet what they'll expect if they go to your social media pages and look for this every morning.
Yeah, every morning there is a moment of motivation, that inspire little message that's going to get you going, that's going to have you making magic on Monday. It's going to keep your teeth out on Tuesday, the midweek motivation that you need on Wednesday, the Thankful Thursday reminder that we need, and the Feel Good Friday message. So you're going to get all of that.
And you know, you and I have chatted about this before. You're self-employed, but you just have so many things going on. How do you do that? Tell people what you're involved with.
I'm involved with everything positive. Everybody that wants to be involved with me has figured out how to get me in their schedule. But positive focus on the future and kids is it's like an arm breaker for me. Like it gets me going and it reminds me like this is what you are made for, your sense of purpose.
It's absolutely true. Ivy, thanks so much for what you do. We'll be watching you each and every morning, my friend.
So basically, I kind of wanted to share her story just because it is just a ray of sunshine every day. It's a good way to start your day with that. Her hashtags, the teeth out Tuesday thing cracks me up. That means you got to smile, right? Easy as that. So if you want to link to her Facebook page, I'll have that story up on WFNYnews2.com after the show. So I asked people on Facebook, what is your go-to quote or message that lifts you and gets you through tough times? Here's what you had to say. We'll start out with Patricia Cox. She says, my go-to in the past and now is the Serenity Prayer. It gives me peace. That is a popular one. Wendy Medlin says, from the great philosopher Jimmy Buffett, breathe in, breathe out, move on. Carol Harris Smith says, if God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. Mary Kay England says, don't sweat the small stuff. Now, that's one I've heard a long time, and I like this. Now, this one I'm going to tell you, Justin posted something a little edgy because it was from George Carlin, but it did make me laugh. He said, think of how ignorant the average person is, then realize that half of them are the people are more ignorant than that, except he used different words. But I'm just telling you, something funny sometimes goes a long way to lift you up. That sounds like a movie quote to me, but it was, but Ivy knows what she's doing, guys.
Yeah, I have met Ivy several times, Eric, and she is always a joy. She really does brighten up a room. For me, my motivational quote is simple. It's just, you've got this. You've got this. And then when in doubt, of course, I open my Bible to Jeremiah 29:11. So we need that positive boost in the morning.
Right, we do. I like to tell myself this too shall pass. I know that one's a very common one, but I'm always talking about the power of positivity and how that really can affect your mood. And if you start the day off right, it sets the tone for the rest of the day.
It does. And, you know, my wife Leslie swears by this, and I think it's the truth, that if you make your bed in the mornings, it just makes you feel like you've accomplished something. So something small like these little quotes or that's, you know, that's a thing.
Yeah, and there have been some signs,
yeah,
studies.
absolutely. I haven't posted.
Okay, never mind. I was just going to say there are some signs that when you do clean your room, it's a sign of clear-mindedness. So if your room is messy, it makes you feel anxious for some people. So there is some value in that. At least just make the bed. It's one thing we all can do every day. All right, let us know how you boost your morning every day. Is it a positive quote? Is it a cup of coffee? Or is it both? Let us know in the live stream. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Tesla workers are raising concerns after an industry blog reported more than 100 have tested positive for COVID-19 and more than 1,000 have been exposed. Now, workers at that plant in Fremont, California say their concerns are being ignored. One employee says the company is leaving workers in the dark about cases at the plant. He adds social distancing protocols aren't being followed and claims masks are provided, but the rules aren't enforced and there's no record of sanitation of equipment. Now, Tesla did not respond for comment.
Okay, so the question then becomes, what are employers required to do? Let's take a look at that here in North Carolina. The law says that employers are required to provide a safe and healthy workplace, and they do have to report positive cases to their local health department. But then it's up to the health department to decide who else at the job site needs to be notified and if it's in the best interest for the public to know. From there, employers have only been guided by the state to sanitize the area. Now, if you feel that your employer hasn't followed those steps, you can file a complaint with the state labor department.
Temperatures outside, you think they're hot here. I show you this map just to make us all feel better about how hot it is. It's 89 degrees here at the airport, right? Hot enough. We don't like it when we're around 90 or more. Look at Columbia, 95 degrees there. I'll bet 5 points is not doing so well. Fayetteville at 95 also. Cooler coastside with a sea breeze, Wilmington at 86, 87 in Myrtle Beach, and it's 94 in Greenville, South Carolina. It's a beautiful part of the country there. Planning forecast, 72 degrees. That'll be our low tonight. That means that's the morning temperature. Partly cloudy tomorrow, not a great rain chance. We're kind of into, once we get through today, we're into that more normal 30 to 40% each afternoon and evening. That's every day in our 7-day forecast that you'll see. 84 degrees by midday tomorrow. The high temperature tomorrow at 91, very similar to today. In fact, highs and lows in the low 70s and low 90s for the next week, and every day a slight late day shower or storm chance.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hi, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Hello, mic check for Maddie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mic check, my people. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check. 4 to 5. Mic check.
Good afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Taheshah Moyes, working alongside Eric Chilton and Maddie Gardner, who are working from home. We are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world. Be sure to join the conversation with us on our live streams on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, Twitter, and on YouTube. Governor Roy Cooper announced schools would reopen under Plan B, but schools also have the option to reopen under Plan C. Now, Plan B is a more restrictive plan that requires social distancing.
Right, and schools would only operate at 50% capacity. Let's take a closer look at that plan. All students and staff in grades K through 12 have to wear a face covering. Temperature checks and other symptom screens will be required, and schools need to have a plan in place if someone were to get sick. There will be more cleaning and disinfecting on buses and inside of schools. Regular hand washing is encouraged, and there will be hand sanitizer in every classroom. Schools are temporarily holding off on activities that bring together large groups, and they will limit non-essential visitors.
Well, Guilford County Schools still debating their options, but they will renovate 116 buildings, and students will not return to those buildings for at least the first 5 weeks. Brian Bennett, our social guru here, people were talking about this on Facebook, and let me tell you, people were all upset one way or the other about this.
There you go, Eric. One way or the other. I think that's the best way to do it. We're going to kick things right off with Ms. Williams. She says, my kids will not be going point blank. There are thousands of children dying all over. Why would you risk sending our children back? Ms. Miller says, so these kids are going to keep their mask on all day. Good luck with that. Ms. Johnson says, thank you, Dr. Contreras, for making it safer to start for staff and students. Tom is clearly for opening the schools back up. He says they should not fund schools who do not open. And lastly, Ms. Bradley says, there is no great solution at this point. Everybody has to be flexible and safe. And I think that's what we've been preaching here. Everybody wants everybody to be safe, especially the students. But I think while we're all figuring that out, and if Guilford County Schools feels like they haven't figured that out yet, then the best option is to do what Dr. Contreras suggested, which is to let the students do remote learning for a couple of weeks before reopening the schools.
Yeah, Brian, and you know, there are a lot of concerns that people have, especially parents, going into the fall. So I asked you on my Facebook page today, and you also shared some concerns on our live stream yesterday. So let's break down some of those. Linda Johnson says, this is putting our kids and their family in danger. If you have an older adult who keeps your kids every day, they are being exposed to whatever the kids bring home. Amanda Blankenship says the school system I work for can't make halls one way. Making things 6 feet apart is impossible when we barely have enough room for the amount of kids we have in class on a normal day. Judy Slaughter Albright says, I am honestly terrified. Parents need to work, but what parents want to see their child sick or have that child bring it home to the whole family? Paula says, I wonder where they are going to get more teachers. Raven says, how do you social distance children on school buses? Devin says, how can parents work and have children having to do both in classroom and remote? And guys, that was the biggest thing for me is, you know, a lot of these plans in place have a mix of in-person and online. And so it's almost going to have to be up to the employers to be willing to work with parents for their kids.
Absolutely, Taheshah. I am a little bit concerned about access, both to the internet for that remote learning and just kids being able to go to school on those different days and parents having to get their schedules covered when they have to stay at home. But I do know that our Triad districts are working out plans. We mentioned a couple of them to you already here on the 4 to 5. You can read the rest on our website. And I encourage parents who do have those questions to look at those plans because they have thought about pretty much everything. I know specifically social distancing on buses in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. They're already talking about those routes taking longer because they will have fewer students on each bus because they have to be 6 feet apart.
I'm going to tell you, my father was a school superintendent. I know how tough that job is, but right now that could be one of the toughest jobs in the country, trying to make these decisions because it is difficult, and there are concessions on both sides with parents, students, teachers, and administration, everybody. That, you know, it's almost like nobody's going to be completely happy with these decisions. So we are sticking with it. We'll keep you posted and let you know what's going on. Of course, as every time we get new information, we pass it on to you. It's what we do. Here's the forecast, though. Let's talk about that. And nothing we can do about this either. We grin and bear it, don't we? It's hot, and it will remain hot for the next several days. Our normal high, by the way, is around 88, and we're consistently 91 to 93. And that's the forecast for the next week, it looks like. Not a lot of change. You look for the radar, because some of you, myself included, would love to see a little rain for our yards, but most of this is to the south. When we zoom in a little bit and check our automated watches and warnings, nothing popping just yet. Could it? Yes, but not as likely. And then if you look to the south, this is closer to, say, Salisbury in that neck of the woods, and Montgomery County. That's where we're seeing some of the showers and thunderstorms, at least at this hour. It will remain hot. You see the approach of the cold front. That really shouldn't amount to much as far as extra rain chances, but it may bump us up to, say, a 40%. Normal for us, 30 to 40% every afternoon and evening, and that's where we are for our 7-day. Highs 91 tomorrow through Saturday, 92 or 93 Sunday through Wednesday of next week.
Well, in Michigan, a man was shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy after he reportedly got into a fight with someone in a store about not wanting to wear a face mask. Sean Ruiz reportedly stabbed someone for confronting him about not wearing a mask, and then he drove to a nearby neighborhood. That's when a deputy pulled him over, and Ruiz pulled a knife on the deputy. The deputy shot and killed him. The stab victim, we're told, is doing fine after treated for injuries.
Now, we would all like to see the coronavirus pandemic end, of course, right? Well, the CDC director says there is one way we can all help in that. Wear a mask in public. Dr. Robert Redfield says if all Americans wear a mask when they leave their homes, this pandemic would be under control in 8 weeks. Redfield adds because of the upcoming flu season, the fall and winter are going to be a hard time for American public health. The CDC says cloth face coverings can help stop respiratory droplets from traveling in the air from a cough, sneeze, or talking. And we are seeing businesses take initiatives and tell you to wear a mask in order to enter their store. Now, they do have that right. We all know that quote, no shoes, no shirt, no service rule. Well, the same concept applies for a mask. If a business makes a mask a requirement, it does not violate anyone's rights. And if you don't follow those rules, you're actually the one infringing on the business's rights. Something that we have to explain every now and then.
Absolutely, yes. It's one of the big questions that we got when the statewide mask mandate went into effect. And Taheshah, you mentioned it, you know, the business has a right to refuse you service if you don't wear a mask. And if you refuse to leave that business, they can even call in law enforcement and you could be charged with trespassing. So you have to weigh your options there when you think about not wanting to wear a mask and trying to go to a business.
Yeah, we have to remember that business does have that right. And again, we go back to the same thing where people are just saying, just wear a mask. You can take care of everything. Just keep one in your car. I leave mine, and I leave multiple ones in my car, and you just pop it on real quick, go in there, take care of your business, and come back out. Simple as that.
Right, and it's not a nefarious thing too, right? Because I know many businesses are trying to work with people and they're saying, you know, we can offer curbside if you don't want to wear a mask and come in, trying to just make it a pleasant experience for everyone. So we don't see those videos that come out every now and then of a huge argument happening at the door.
Yeah, and sometimes even if it's just retail, they'll come out and help you and then go back, get the product, come back to, I mean, they'll take care of you. Not even just food, you know, it can be anything.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but 8 weeks wearing a mask and have the coronavirus maybe go away. Let's all try to do that.
I'm on it.
Ugh, you know the feeling. It could be a summer cold, it could be the stomach bug. Either way, are you too sick to go to work? You know, it used to be that if you had a fever, you were contagious. You just had to stay home.
Right, and that's how it used to be in the rule of thumb, right? I heard that could be, you know, the next day, maybe the fever is gone then,
right,
and then you're good to go.
Okay, but don't let that confuse you with how you should be dealing with a positive COVID diagnosis, because the city of Winston-Salem posted 3 quick guidelines. After a positive test, you can return to work if you have no fever for 72 hours after recovery. Symptoms have improved and it's been at least 10 days since the symptoms started. So again, that rule is the fever after 72 hours. All right, tonight at 6 o'clock, we're going to answer the question, how long do you have to be at home if you get a positive test but you have no symptoms whatsoever? Hey, a lot of people are looking for a job or will be looking for a job, especially as we get closer to unemployment benefits expiring. That's why we're taking your questions to the experts. We're talking resumes, cover letters, and how to do your best Zoom interview. You'll be able to text your questions 336-379-5775.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Now, before the break, we were talking about stores requiring face masks, and now Walmart and Sam's Club will start requiring all customers to wear a face covering. According to the company, that new rule will go into effect on Monday. The company says 65% of Walmart and Sam's Club stores are already in an area where there's a local mask mandate, and they hope this new rule will bring some consistency company-wide. Now, health ambassadors will be standing at the doors reminding customers customers as they walk in that they have to wear a mask. Walmart says they're also considering options to give masks to customers who don't have one so they can still come in and shop. Sam's Club says they will offer complimentary masks to customers, or that customers can buy them inside of their stores.
And this announcement comes just one day after Best Buy says they'll require customers to wear masks starting today. Small children and anyone with medical issues are exempt. Starbucks is also adding a face covering requirement that begins today. Now, Brian Bennett joins us. You've been following what our Facebook fans have been saying about these rules. Good or bad, Brian?
Taheshah, you already know, split down the middle. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing underway. We're going to start off with Anthony here. He says, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think this is a smart move. Wow. Mike says, good thing I gave up shopping at Best Buy years ago. All right. Then Annabelle says, we'll shop there even more now. Wow. Kim says, whatever. We have rights. Guess I won't be buying my computer at your store this coming week. I can't wear one with my lung issues. People that wear one are protected, so I don't need one. Bevan says, way to go, Best Buy. Wow. Amber says, yeah, they'll take it off as soon as they get in the store. All right. Chris says, I see nothing wrong with this. While Jacob says, RIP Best Buy. Overpriced anyways. So I don't know. You can't really win for losing here. I think people just have to choose what's best for them, that they think is the best way to do things. I just pray that everybody just stays safe, whatever they choose to do. So.
And here's the novel idea, right? If you don't like what that business is doing, just don't spend your money there, which is what some people have been saying in the comments. Okay, you don't want to buy a computer at Best Buy. That's your prerogative. And if you do, just wear a mask.
Right, again, you have that choice to make. You can go to a business that has a mask requirement and wear a mask and shop there, or you can choose not to wear a mask and you might not be allowed to enter that business. You know, Taheshah and Eric, I was just flying back from Texas yesterday to see my sister who just had newborn babies, and everyone in the airport is wearing a mask because they know it's a requirement. When you get on a plane, they're wearing a mask because, again, they know it's a requirement, and they made several announcements over the intercom saying you have to wear a mask here, and if you don't, you may not be able to fly. You may be banned from this airline. So I think that people, when it comes down to it, they are making the decision to wear that mask. But again, the key word here is decision.
Yeah, and for me, being the big tech geek that I am, and I think I know a lot of my buddies who are the same way, when I go to Best Buy, it's like the the angelic choir when I walk in there. I'm going to put a mask on because I got to have my Best Buy.
I'm just more concerned about the fact that you can't really touch things as much, right? Because you would go to these stores and try everything out, and now you can't do that, even if you're wearing a mask. Anyways, continue the conversation with us on our Facebook stream right now. How do you feel about masks? We'll be right back.
You know, giving the gift of life is always a good thing. One of our favorite local restaurants is making it easy to donate blood, and you get a little reward too. I spoke with Alon Vanterpool with Biscuitville to give us the scoop on this. Take a look.
Alon, thanks for taking time out. Look, when you talk, all you had to do was just say biscuits and you have my attention. Let's go ahead and talk about how this program works.
Absolutely. Well, we are so excited as a company to be a part of this initiative with the American Red Cross blood donation centers. This week, July 13th through the 19th, anyone can go into any of our participating American Red Cross blood donation centers that we're partnering with and donate some blood. So we're very excited about that.
And you know, when we talk about that, this is a crucial time for blood donations. We hear that they're low, and what a great way to do something and get a little bit of a reward for doing the right thing.
Absolutely. You know, Eric, we heard about the FDA, you know, according to the FDA, blood donations are extremely low due to COVID-19. And once Biscuitville was made aware of this, we wanted to certainly do our part and helping to bring those blood donations up. So by anyone going in to donate blood for this week from July 13th through the 19th, going to any of our participating partners for the American Red Cross blood donation centers, they will receive a coupon that will allow them to get a free biscuit of their choice while supplies last. And so they can go to biscuitville.com/Red Cross and see any of our 8 participating blood donation centers, including the one on Yanceyville Street in Greensboro, as well as the one on Coliseum Boulevard in Winston-Salem.
Well, then that means I got to go. So I'll talk to you later.
It's me and it's food, yeah. Let's talk about a forecast, shall we? Scattered showers out there. They were heavy at times. We had one right over Greensboro, and then it just kind of dissipated. Everything else is well to the south. We're looking at the Salisbury area and down toward Montgomery County. Now, if you're in the Troy, Bisco area, Star, that community, that section basically of Montgomery County, even up toward Seagrove, you may see a shower or two, more likely there than everywhere else. Cold front gets closer to us, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. Not a lot of kick with this. It may help our late day shower chances a smidge as we head into that Thursday, Friday time period, maybe a few thunderstorms embedded in that. But our rain chances overall are pretty consistent with what they usually are for this time of the year after we get through today. Today we were mainly dry, but 30 to 40% chance every afternoon and evening of a pop-up shower or storm, partly cloudy otherwise, and we're talking the entire 7-day. Highs between 91 and 93, overnight lows around 72.
Hey guys, mic check 1, 2. We all thought maybe it was inevitable. The delay of fall sports, yet here we are, unfortunately. I'll stand like.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
It's time for my 2 cents, and just a fair warning, this topic is going to be tough. Over the last few weeks, we've seen a number of people receive backlash for comments made against people of color, racist comments that deserve recourse. But when it comes to anti-Semitic comments, the outrage isn't the same. Why is that? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar even touched on this topic in a column published on The Hollywood Reporter Wednesday. He specifically mentioned Hollywood and sports, and he made some really valid points. First, he talked about anti-Semitic comments made by Ice Cube and NFL player Deshaun Jackson. Yes, they did apologize, but it seems they got a pass. And yes, people should apologize for offensive comments, but I don't think they should get off the hook so easily, especially celebrities. Sometimes things just come out the wrong way, maybe. Abdul-Jabbar says celebrities have a responsibility to get the words right. I agree, because words matter no matter the intention. We've seen companies drop sponsorships for athletes for hateful comments. And just today, news was released that Viacom CBS is cutting ties with Nick Cannon for his anti-Semitic sentiments on a recent podcast. But here's the problem when all hateful comments aren't treated the same. It could lead to apathy, and an apathy towards all social justice movements like Black Lives Matter. Abdul-Jabbar refers to it as an apocalypse, saying, quote, "If it's okay to discriminate against one group of people by hauling out cultural stereotypes without much pushback, it must be okay to do the same to others." Hateful speech is hateful speech no matter what group it's against, and it's unacceptable. Abdul-Jabbar ended his piece with a famous Martin Luther King Jr. quote saying, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And this thought, if we are going to be outraged by injustice, we have to be outraged for injustice against anyone. And I wholeheartedly agree. You can form your own opinion. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Governor Roy Cooper chooses to reopen schools with a combination of online learning and in-person classes, but that is just the baseline. Now, individual school districts are deciding what is best for them.
Guilford County schools are now looking at 3 different options, ranging from high schoolers learning remotely entirely to all students attending class on alternate days or weeks. But that's not all.
All this needs to be decided in the next 2 weeks. WFMY News 2's Jess Winters breaks down the scenarios for GCS.
Guilford County Schools is deciding between scenarios A, B, and C. Whichever the district picks, we know for certain that all students will start off the school year learning from home remotely for 5 weeks. Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras is in favor of scenario A, which would allow younger students in grades K through 8 to attend school 5 days a week. High school students would entirely learn from home. Exceptions would be made for students with disabilities, those who don't speak fluent English, and students who are homeless or living in foster care. They would attend school full-time regardless of grade level. Scenario B calls for students to come to school 2 days a week and to learn from home 3 days a week in alternating groups. Instead of days, Scenario C looks at weeks. Scenario C would alternate weeks so that half of the student body would attend school 1 week and the other half would attend the next week. Remote learning would take place on the alternate weeks. As you can see, each scenario has an equal amount of advantages and disadvantages. Dr. Contreras says there's no ideal solution. Again, all GCS students will be learning remotely for the first 5 weeks of school before moving into one of those 3 scenarios. The board will choose that final scenario at the July 28th meeting.
Jess, thank you. Some parents, Triad parents, have concerns about school reopening plans and want to go a different route. WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba spoke with 2 fathers who say they're homeschooling their kids this year to keep them safe.
I didn't like the decision at all. I don't feel comfortable in sending my son to school with so many unknown variables in the equation.
For these Greensboro dads, avoiding COVID-19 and making money daily is challenging.
CDC says if you are